something you'll be interested in. Those performance upgrades we discussed after the last race. They're on the car and the data looks promising. Take a look at the details.
What is up, guys? JayFerGaming here. Welcome to part 5 of my F1 2017 career mode. This is the Spanish Grand Prix. If you're new to my channel, do hit that subscribe button, and if you've missed the previous 4 episodes, do go check them out. It's been such a sterling start to the season. Really enjoyed it. As you can see, we've had another upgrade in terms of durability. That's kind of the area that I'm focusing on for now, as we try and get closer to the Renault team. But I feel like the car performance in general is pretty good, and if we improve the durability, we'll have less engine and gearbox penalties later on in the season. And if you saw my last race in Russia, you'll have seen that I made a bit of a mistake in terms of the gearbox and gave myself a 5-place grid penalty for pretty much no reason. But in terms of our comparison with our teammate Carlos Sainz, we've done, in terms of the points, a lot better. In terms of the rivalry, we're only slightly ahead of Carlos. So it'll be nice to win the first rivalry of the season. We didn't win many at all on F1 2016, but after practice here, we had the resource points, not enough to make any upgrades for the Monaco Grand Prix. But in terms of each component of the power unit, I will be switching over to the second ones. I think I'm going to use the first ones just for practice sessions for the next few races. I'm not really sure what the strategy is to do in terms of the power unit parts, but I guess it's going to be a learning process throughout the season. In terms of the gearbox, we're on our second one, and we will be leaving that alone, hopefully, for the next 5 races. So now, let's get to the Spanish Grand Prix qualifying.
Today's qualifying session is about to start here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and what a cracker of a session we're expecting it to be. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk, and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
So we're jumping into qualifying here. This is our first run, and overall, I've got to say in practice, I did feel pretty good. Spain is usually a true test of the car's performance, and I felt like the Toro Rosso, I think we deserve to be at least in Q2. So in our first lap here, we come to the line, and it's 2.2 seconds off Sebastian Vettel's initial time and ahead of Carlos Sainz, which we haven't done too often on our first run. And as we skip to near the end of the session, we are in the drop zone, slightly behind our teammate Carlos. I mean, it's pretty much nothing, is it? So if we improve our lap time by maybe a 10th, we should get through to the next session. But of course, the AI, have they improved in terms of qualifying know-how? No, because Van Dorn has just totally got in the way there. That is really annoying and really did hamper my run through turns 1 and 2. Ericsson, yep, forces me off the racing line and I have to lock up. So yeah, it's not been a great start to the lap, I've got to say. And to top things off, who do you know? It's my teammate totally getting in the way of me there, and I do a bit of a half spin. So that lap's been absolutely ruined. I've got to slow down. Luckily we do just have enough fuel and enough time in this session to do another lap, but the grip just wasn't there. And yeah, I don't even think it's going to be an improvement on our final run, and I feel like Carlos Sainz for sure has cost us a shot of knocking him out of Q1. So come to the line. Yeah, we haven't even improved. It's been a disastrous session. The AI have absolutely screwed us on that final run, and look, we get knocked out by less than a 10th. It's to Magnussen instead of Carlos, but still, we really should have got out of Q1 there. So we're out with the 2 McLarens and 2 Saubers. Carlos gets at least into Q2, so at least it's good for him, of course. So let's get over to the race.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Kimi Raikkonen's perfect lap yesterday sees him start from pole position, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen, Massa, Stroll, Perez and Carlos Sainz, Grosjean, Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon and Magnussen, Palmer and the Toro Rosso, Fernando Alonso and Stoffel Van Dorn, Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid.
So that's the grid. We could see Carlos was up there in P10. I've got a few bitter feelings towards him after his performance in qualifying. But in terms of strategy, I am going to mix it up for once. I'm going to go for 2 medium stints and end on the faster compound. We haven't really done that strategy so far this season, but 5 lights and away we go. As expected, we don't get a great initial getaway on them medium compound tyres, and Hulkenberg's not got a great start here in front of us, so we cover off Alonso to the left hand side. We look for a move up the inside, and I see the Renaults leave a bit of a gap there. We're 3 wide at the moment, and the Renaults, the Renaults are making contact. We've hit the back of Hulkenberg there. Luckily we've got no damage to our front wing, and we just squeezed past the 2 battling Renaults there. That was so tight going through turns 1 and 2, but at least we got a couple of positions. Now we're closing up to the main pack, who seem to be braking very early and doing the classic Codemasters follow the leader on the first lap as we go up the inside of Magnussen, making sure that he can't fight back around the outside. And there we go, up to P13. So overall it's been a solid start, and our main aim on these medium tyres is to keep up with the soft runners ahead of us. And I feel like there's not many drivers on an alternate strategy, and I think less drivers on this game seem to do the alternate strategy. I mean, it's I think more this season than most. It's not as good as it has been, but we're closing in, and there's a yellow flag just ahead of us. There's a big train. I'm not sure what's happened here, and we're just looking at a replay, and I think it involves Lewis Hamilton. He's gone off at turn 1. The Ferrari is through, and I think he's got a puncture. He's got a very abnormal right front tyre there, and we can see on board that's a very vicious puncture. I have seen a puncture on this game, but it looked nothing like that. That looks absolutely crazy. I'm not sure if that's a bit of a glitch. I know the tyre wall ends up like that sometimes. With Hamilton, he's definitely out the running, but he's held up Grosjean, a treat there for us. Has he held up Ocon enough for us to dive up the inside? Yes, he has. Up the inside we go. I don't think we've got the position, so we go back over to Hamilton for now. And wow, this race has been an absolute disaster for him. And we continue with the battle with Esteban. He comes back up the inside, and we make slight contact. We're trying to force him to give up the position, but no, Ocon on them soft compound defends his position nicely, but we're not that far behind our teammate now. So Sainz, it's your home Grand Prix. You haven't scored any points so far this season. Please step it up and score some points for the Toro Rosso team. Obviously not at the expense of myself, but we've got a shot at potentially getting a double points finish for the first time this season. The virtual safety car is out. Look on the minimap at the end of the hairpin is sector 2. Hamilton is stuck in the gravel, and this really is embarrassing. I don't really know what he's trying to do. We didn't really brake for the corner. Where the hell is Lewis Hamilton going? I don't know how to explain this. This is funny.
Oh no, no!
I just had to use that team radio, guys. I really did. It's the first time I've used a team radio in this career mode, and yeah. This second lap for Lewis Hamilton has been a disaster, I must say. But look at the yellow flags. That is for the debris. He's left debris all over the place. And we know on this game, if you actually run over debris, you can get a puncture. So that final corner is going to be a bit of a hazard. It didn't come up on my screen, but I presume Hamilton is out the race after he crashed into the pit wall. That was a bit of a strange one. But ahead of us, we can see Carlos Sainz is shaping up for a move. And you can guess who it is on. It is Lance Stroll, who once again is starting his own train. I mean, he qualifies very well in this career, but his race pace is absolutely shocking. So I think his qualifying pace probably needs to be toned down a little bit, and we know we need to get past him as soon as we can. So he's holding up Ocon a treat here for us. Can we go for the move? Because Ocon will be difficult to overtake. He has fantastic straight line speed. Oh, we're locking up. Stroll's gone wide as well, so the two ahead of us side by side. We're so close to running into the back of Ocon there. The side by side into the middle sector. It's going to be tricky for the Force India driver to get the position from here, but we're looking to pounce if there's any mistakes, any contact. But no, we're going to have to settle in for the final chicane, and you can see how much Stroll is really holding me up here, and this is for the last remaining points. I know it's early stages, but if Stroll holds up a big train and we can get ahead of him, then we can put a gap to between us and the cars behind us. But this is really helping us on the mediums. As Ocon goes for the move just before turn 1. Stroll tries to fight back. We're looking for the move into turn 1. We were so eager to get past Lance, but no, he's fighting back. He's got the grip on them tyres, and we're just trying our best not to run into the back of him and damage the front wing. It really is that easy, just a clip of Stroll's car and we will have damage. If you've seen my simulation damage compilation video, self-promoting there. But as we get the run on Stroll onto lap 7, it's a pretty simple move by the looks of things. Very late on the brakes just to make sure we get it done, and there we go, up to P9. That's exactly what we need. Now we need the Williams to hold up the cars behind so they're not a threat to us later on in the race. So we skip on to lap 10 now. Ocon is going into the pits for his first pit stop. Definitely going for a different strategy to my teammate who pitted at the end of lap 7, and they're both on the same compound. But behind us, Sebastian Vettel has a lot of speed after he's made his first pit stop. But I want to continue this clip because we'll see just how dominant the Ferrari is. Look how much grip it has on them fresh tyres through, especially turn 3. The grip is absolutely incredible. Look at him speed off into the distance. He's gained a second in a matter of corners. I mean, our car isn't bad, and I know these tyres are a little bit old, but you don't expect him to be that more superior in terms of performance. It's just absolutely incredible. So we come into the pits at the end of lap 12 here. We'll be looking to do another stint on the mediums and another 12-lap stint as well, which will take us onto the softs, and hopefully that will take us to the end. Quick stop here from the guys, 2.6. That potentially could be our fastest pit stop of the season so far. So, where are we going to end up? This is going to be very important for the rest of our race. I can see on the minimap that is Lance Stroll in P12, and he's got a huge train behind him. We've got to get out ahead of him. That is key for the rest of our race, and we've done it. That is exactly what we need. Absolutely perfect. We're into P11 now, but the two cars ahead of us are actually the two Saubers, who I think are going for a one-stop strategy, just like Verline actually did at this track in real life, and actually scored some pretty decent points with a P8. That was a brilliant performance, I remember. But now we're on the back of our teammate from the last game, Marcus Ericsson. Sir Marcus Ericsson, this shouldn't be too difficult. The Sauber really is bad. It really is. I just can't believe, thinking back to Bahrain, that we were fighting wheel for wheel for positions, and yeah, it just shows how bad we were at the Sakhir circuit. But on to lap 15 now. We're on to the back of Verline. This time we're slightly further back than we were on the back of Ericsson, so it looks like we might not be able to get the move done into turn 1, but we really need to get past Verline here because he really is slow. You can just see how bad the cornering speed on the Sauber is. I mean, no grip at all, no downforce. I mean, I'm so glad I'm not doing a career mode in the Sauber car again. It's just a bit of a shame. I mean, a few years ago, they were scoring podiums with Sergio Perez, so what a decline they've had. Up to P9 now. And this is actually a genuine position on the track, as we're behind Carlos Sainz, who has just come into the pits to make his final pit stop. He's actually going onto the hard compound. So we're going to pit in about 6 laps time. So Sainz is going to have a massive undercut, but he's going to be on the harder compound. We're going to have the quicker tyres on and the fresher tyres. So it's going to be an interesting battle. I feel like this is a teammate battle for possibly P8 and P9. I feel like we're too far behind, I think, Sergio Perez and Felipe Massa. I'm not even going to mention the drivers ahead of them because we're definitely too far behind them. And because of Stroll, we're quite far ahead. I think it's the Hasses and the Renaults who were battling behind us. So into the pits for our final pit stop, onto the softs. Where does Sainz go? There he goes. So he's in that far ahead. I'd say that's probably about 5 seconds, which isn't too bad. And we're quite far ahead of Ocon in P10. So it looks like it actually is a battle between myself and Carlos. Can he prove his worth for this team? Can he score his first points of the season and finally put in a performance? Yes, he can. He can battle in the points, but it looks like we should get the better of him. I mean, look how much speed we've got into that final chicane. I mean, that final chicane isn't as bad as it has been in previous games, and I think that's probably mainly down to the car. But we get a run on Sainz here. Can we go for the move and nab P8 off the Spaniard at his home Grand Prix? So the crowd might not be too happy with me, but I've got to do this for the team. See if we can chase after the cars ahead. I know they're quite far ahead, but we get the better of our teammate. Skipping on to lap 30 now. 4 laps to go. 7.7 seconds behind Perez. So nothing doing there, and we just need to keep Sainz behind us. So unfortunately, that's probably going to be it for this race. But overall, you've got to say, with Sainz picking up the pace, it's been very successful for the Toro Rosso team. We've got the strategy working pretty well. The performance of the car, even though we haven't really made that many upgrades. In real life, you'd made loads for the Spanish Grand Prix, but we haven't made that many at all. And we're coming home in a very solid P8. So overall, that's been a great race for the team. Very happy indeed.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So you can see that familiar red suit at the top of the podium of Kimi Raikkonen. Of course it is. He's so overpowered. Ahead of Bottas and Vettel. Obviously Hamilton had that absolute disaster on lap 2. That's got to be one of the most comedic moments of the season. Probably will be for the whole career mode. But we can see we just finished ahead of our teammate. And we were very close to getting lap as well. Just shows how powerful the Ferrari is. And looking down the order, there was only one retirement, which isn't that many, you've got to say. And that was only because Hamilton was driving like a bit of an idiot. But you can see Lance Stroll ended up in P15. Just shows the lack of pace he had there. So in the driver standings, Raikkonen leading from Bottas. The two Finns, the two number 2 drivers leading Vettel and Hamilton. Absolutely incredible. We're on 24 points, so a very solid start to the season. Best of the rest behind the top 3 teams. Romain Grosjean finally scored his first point since the second race. So yeah, we're going to be locked in a battle with a number of drivers there. I can probably see it being with Massa, Hulkenberg and Perez. I think it'll probably be. And in terms of Carlos Sainz jumping up to P15, finally on the board. 3 drivers yet to score, Van Dorn and the 2 Saubers. Over to the constructors. We've been jumped by Williams, but we've jumped above Haas. But look at that battle. That could be a fantastic battle this season. Williams, Toro Rosso, Haas, Renault, Force India, all for P4. So look out for that, guys. If you haven't enjoyed the video, please do leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already to my channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time out. Goodbye.